my name's Pam. Welcome to another edition of Bluebird Corner, the Cardiff City Fans Podcast. So Cardiff City 2, Bolton Wanderers 0 at the CCS today. Great win for the Bluebirds. And if we weren't sure before that automatic promotion was in the bag, it's near enough in the bag now, isn't it? That was an important win for us. I think Bradford lost to Stevenage at home. I think, 3 or 4 points, isn't it, from our next 4 or 5 games will be fine. So I think even a draw today would have been a good result for the City. So before the game, Willock come in for Ashford. I think he had a slight knock. No Salek, Kellyman obviously, and Ruben Cole were playing today. And also Dylan Lawler was in defence instead of Chambers. As for Bolton, well, Koza Dewberry was on the bench as we expected. And City were on the front foot, weren't they, from the word go? I think with it less than a minute, I think 1-2 between Willock and Kellyman. Kellyman's effort was saved. I remember Robertson having a 20-25 yard curler in the top corner was brilliantly saved by the keeper for a corner. And we were really dominating the ball. The passing was crisp. I thought NG was superb throughout the game. And I remember sort of NG making a superb run to the byline and a cross for Robertson. Somehow hit the crossbar. From the Canton end, it looked like, it was easier to score. And you do wonder, don't you, with what I talked about earlier, and the fact that we need 21 shots, or we've had 21 shots for every goal in our last 6 games, that maybe, we weren't going to score. And I think the first half, for all our domination, and as I said, I didn't know what the stats were, but watching it looked like 75% City possession. We totally dominated, didn't we, throughout that first half. I thought there was some, as I said, Bacon and NG were excellent. Robertson was superb, and Ruben Colwell did really well. I think, the whole team really stepped up. Dylan Lawler was majestic in defence. And Bolton, I don't know about yourselves, but Bolton fans, I don't mean to, diss the team exactly, because obviously I'm only going on what sides I've seen at the CCS, but Bolton didn't look much better than Wigan, and Wigan one of the worst teams we've seen down the City. And obviously the form table for City before this game, we were 17th in the last 6 and Bolton were 12. So both teams weren't really playing, really well. City were obviously creating chances, but we couldn't put them away. And the first half, like I said, for all our efforts, and we had a lot of shots on goal. I think the quality of the shots were better. A bit unlucky, as I said, hitting the crossbar, and a few decent saves from the keeper. I think Tanner a couple of times should have pulled the trigger, and he didn't. I think that's been our nemesis in previous games. But really, like I said, after 35 minutes, we were well on top, and I think there was some ironic cheers from Bolton. I think fans, just before the 40th minute, I think they had a cross, and I do remember actually NG making a brilliant header. I think went for a corner. I think if he'd missed that, Bolton could well have scored. And you think, like, for all our efforts in the first half, they could well have been in front. But yeah, we dominated the whole first half, didn't we, really? And as I said, some great efforts all round from the team. I thought Robertson, as I said, was, the key really in the engine room. And a bit worried. I think a few City fans worried about Colwell and Kellyman, playing together, because it hasn't really worked, has it? But I thought Ruben, did really, really well. But yeah, we went in half time, didn't we? 0-0. And I think there was, from the rest point of view, there was one incident with Ruben Colwell. I think he got tugged back and he should have been given a foul for City, but the played on, and then I think Ruben went in a bit late on the player, although I think he was a little bit lucky to get yellow in real time. That's what it looked like. But generally the ref was okay first half. So yeah, City 0, Bolton 0 half time. A little bit worried because, like I said, without knowing the stats at that time, it felt like we'd had about 12 shots and 75% possession, but again, no kind of end result. And I was thinking, was Salek going to come on second half? And the early part of the sort of, the second half really was, there was a couple of instances, I think, like when, I think Willock and Wintle both refused a shot when in a decent position. I think to get a shot off from like 20 odd yards, and you start worrying again. It's the same thing. A couple of moans from some City fans around me in the Canton corner. But, to be honest, I mean, to get, the goal not long after, I think it was a corner, wasn't it? Bagan, fantastic corner from Bagan. I think we've had many players, try corners and stuff, but I think Bagan from that left side in the Canton, he was superbly whipped in, and surprisingly, a little bit like Kellyman, the way he sort of took that header calmly into the corner of the net for 1-0. I think that calmed the nerves of the City fans like myself, because, like I said, for all our dominance of the game, we needed a score, didn't we, early on second half, because obviously, as we know, that if time goes on and we get to 70 odd minutes, it's 0-0, you get a bit jittery. So that sort of settled the team down. And not long after that, was it, that, there was a break down the left, and Willett got the ball, and, 30, 35 yards out, you sort of knew what Willett was going to do. He was going to cut inside on his right. But I think that's, a slight difference between him and Ashford is that he's got a little bit more, experience and quality, I think, with regards to shooting. He sort of stroked it home, did he? Sort of passed it into the net. Didn't need to lift it or anything. He just sort of passed it into the corner, and that was, I think it came off the bar, the post, sorry, and just in the corners. Perfect shot for 2-0, and that really was game done, wasn't it? You could see Bolton didn't really offer much at all. And as I said, in the first half, you looking at that Bolton side, and if I was a Bolton fan, I'd be a bit worried in the playoffs. I mean, in terms of sides I've seen down the city, and it can change from week to week, but, Bradford certainly on their day, a very good front three. Stockport are hard to beat, and it'll be interesting to see who sneaks in for that other position along with Bolton. Surprisingly, Plymouth drew today in against Exeter, and I thought with their two strikers they would get in the playoffs. So I think Bolton are going to have their work cut out in the playoffs. It's going to be very, very competitive and close. But as for us, yeah, we've just cemented our place in second, haven't we? And really kind of put ourselves in a great position to get promoted. I'm not sure if someone said to me we can go up against Huddersfield. I haven't really checked. Been on cloud nine since I left the ground, and we've it was a really good performance, wasn't it, by the City? And I was really impressed with NG. I thought he was absolutely superb. I would give man of the match, and I said I haven't even looked at any of the figures. I thought Robertson for me was man of the match. I thought NG was very close. Dylan Lawler was sublime. He had Dolby in his pocket. Nothing troubled him really, did it, in defence? I thought Fish had a couple of iffy moments at times, lost the ball, a couple of iffy passes. But, when you look at the side, I think, the majority of the team played really, really well. I was really impressed with Ruben and Kellyman. And, as fans, obviously, are critical when I think it's right to be critical. But, to be fair, we didn't need Salek, although he did come on late on, wasn't it? We had a few substitutions in the second half. I think Scanlon came on, Turnbull came on, Joel Colwell came on, and then late on, Salek came on. A few chances in the second half. We were close on goal again. I think Tanner, great, was it 60, 70 yard run by Tanner, and the defender just got back. And, there was a few other shots on goal that were very close. And I'm just really pleased, like I said, for the overall performance. I mean, that sort of got back to how we sort of started the season, and even up to sort of the end of January, early February, wasn't it? The way we were performing. Remember the game against Chelsea, we were superb. So, yeah, it's really good to see the team get that confidence back. There's no doubt that, we're creating loads of chances, but, instead of 21 chances to get one goal, I don't know how many, was it 19 or something overall in this match, and we've got 2 goals. So, that's a much better conversion rate than what's been happening in the last few weeks. It'd be great to hear what you thought of the game in terms of, man of the match. Who did you think really played well? Were you a bit surprised, that we sort of won the game very easily? I think, I think Bolton didn't really trouble us. Is that more of a reflection on how bad Bolton were, or kind of how we've improved? I think it's a bit of both. But yeah, it'd be great to hear your thoughts about the game. Do you think, is near enough done now, promotion? And yeah, I mean, I just looking forward to the Reading game. I think we've got nearly 3,000 going there already. It'll be, hopefully City will get a few hundred more tickets. It'd be great. We can get 4,000. I'm not sure Reading will give us that, but we'd certainly easily sell out. Probably get 5 or 6,000 if they let us. But yeah, great performance by the team today. So pleased that we've really got back on track, and it is no question now, is it, that we're going to get promoted. It would be a disaster like if we didn't get something from, well, definitely Port Vale and Northampton home. I think those two are doomed. So yeah, thanks very much for watching Blue Corner. As I said, great to hear your thoughts about the game, and we'll do a podcast pre Huddersfield early next week. So have a good rest of the weekend, and we'll see you soon. Take care.